tonight on Saltiness Isn't Bliss is seasoned beef with rice. Even better than that is the fact that this recipe only takes a handful of ingredients to make. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a packet of Spanish rice. This is just a great rice to pair with my beef that I'm going to season with like a reduced sodium taco seasoning type type flavor. So this is the rice I'm going to pair with that. So I'm going to put 2 cups of water in my pot here. Turn my burner on high. Put my entire rice packet in because I want to bring that to a boil, and then we will simmer that for about 7 minutes. So it's a great start. Just get that going, get that ready, and then I will come over here to my beef, which will take a little bit longer, a little more prep. All right, guys, I've got my rice packet all blended into my water. I'll give you a little sneak peek of that in just a bit. And now let's talk beef. So the beef I love to use is a black Angus top round steak. This is a very versatile beef, very lean, healthy beef. So what I do is I buy this packet. Sometimes I will actually just cut it into 3s and make steaks out of it. In this case tonight, I'm going to cut it into strips. So cutting it into strips will allow me to just create a whole new dish with it and kind of have fun with it. So you can purchase and use any beef you like. This is just the one I tend to go with. And there's very little fat on that, so that's nice too, because I can leave that on if I choose, but usually I just trim it off. So I'm just gonna kind of open this up, trim all the fat all the way around, and then I will get it on my flat skillet here. So I'm just gonna put it directly on the skillet. It is a non-stick skillet, so there will be juices and moisture in the meat that will come out while it cooks, so that will help it to not stick to the pan so much. And then we will season it as soon as we get it cut up, so I'll be right back. All right, so my rice is coming along nice. I've got a gentle boil going, and I have turned the burner down to just below medium-low, so I'm gonna cover that and let that simmer. Got my beef all cut up here on my skillet. So that's how that looks right now, and that's about the size. You can choose how thin or thick you want your slices, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna put that back on the burner, and now I'm gonna start to season it. I'll season it over there so you guys can see it. Just like before in some of my previous videos, anytime I'm making a dish that is kind of taco inspired, I kind of stick with 3 basic kind of standard seasonings that I use, which are the dried cilantro leaves, some lime juice, you can always go with fresh lime of course, and this is a reduced sodium taco seasoning. So what was originally in here was completely salt-free. I ran out of that, so I have refilled it with a reduced sodium taco seasoning. So I've got it all sliced up. I'm gonna kind of spread it out a little bit so that I can make sure everything gets evenly coated when I season it. So I like to start with my taco seasoning and just kind of do a heavy coat so that when I flip the meat with my fork or spoon, whatever you're using, I can make sure both sides get coated. And obviously as this cooks, some of that will cook off of there as well. So there is my taco seasoning. Next I'm going to go with my lime juice. So just kind of do back and forth a couple of times till I see everything coated. And I top it off with my dried cilantro. You can always go with fresh. And of course this will all be to taste, so how much you put on there will depend upon how heavily seasoned you want your beef. Of course you're going to have more flavor and seasoning from your rice as well. So that's what that looks like right now, just with the seasoning just freshly on there. So now I'm just going to use my fork and kind of flip that all around just to make sure it all gets coated. And I'm going to put it back on the burner and turn my burner to high. Once I get a good sizzle going, I will turn it down a bit so it doesn't burn, but I do really want to try to get that meat cooking and all those flavors kind of locked into the meat as it cooks. All right, guys, so just like when we were moving our beef around on the skillet to get all the seasoning on there, I'm just kind of taking my fork and moving it all around like that, just to flip it and keep it cooking evenly. So that kind of helps to speed up the cooking process as well. And you'll see kind of all that liquid on there, that's what's coming out of the meat as it's cooking. So that does help to keep the meat moist, but also to keep it from sticking to our pan. All right, guys, our dinner is all done on the stove, so I am going to put it on a plate. I'm going to start with my rice here. And I am just going to pour, probably not the whole pot, but a good amount here out on the plate. Smooth that out. Go. I'm gonna bring my beef over, kind of scoop it and shake it a bit just to get all that excess liquid off of there. You can always add a bit more lime juice or seasoning to it as you pull it off your skillet, just to give it a little added kick, or hot sauce, whatever works for you. And you want to cook the beef to the desired doneness. So this beef can be used to make steak, like I said earlier. So however you would want your steak done is how much you will cook this beef. For me, I just make sure all the red is gone out of it as I cook it. So I'm just going to kind of top it like that. And then on the very top, I'm going to add my Chihuahua shredded cheese. I think that will complement that very nicely. Just going to add a layer of that. I'm going to pair it with some pink guava juice. Pour some of that in there. There it is. Dinner tonight. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.